So I can't say it just depends on the severity of the incident.
But that is something to keep in mind for all of us. When you have something like this at the building, people aren't going to go to the
What do you expect of managers and maintenance technicians? You arrive, let's say there's an active shooter going on. What can we do to help you?
Give me a description and basically stay as far away from the site as possible. So if something were to happen here and I'm arriving outside, I would want y'all to go across the street. Get as far away as you can and keep people from, we'll keep people from coming in. But a thorough description is what we want the most. Because the sooner, obviously, the sooner we can find a person, the better. But we also, like if we get SWAT involved, we come up with a game plan. Also, if you have somebody who has blueprints, if it gets that deep, and that also we know, all right, because if they barricaded themselves, then our SWAT team is coming. If a regular officer like me can't resolve it in time, we would like a blueprint so we can figure out, all right, where was the last time you saw them? Tell me how many rooms this building has. What are the exit points? Are you sure it's just one? How long were they here? What type of weapon did they have? But SWAT would brief you on that. And if you have one point person to do that, that would be great. We'd rather have one person to talk to as opposed to 10 folks saying, oh, and don't forget about the bathroom in the basement. One person who pretty much has the gist of the logistics and the layout of the building would help. Because at the end of the day, with SWAT, that takes, that's going to be hours if SWAT ends up getting involved. Now, before SWAT comes, we may have K9, and with K9, you definitely want to stay back because the dog doesn't really know the difference between good and bad. They just know once it gets released, it's going to go get anybody who's in there. And if they're not compliant, they're going to hop. We've had cops bitten who forget to stop running after the guy once the dog's released. But, you know, that's another story. What other questions do you have?
How often have you seen, I'm sorry, break-ins or robberies and stuff from ex-employees that didn't have their access cards turned off in a timely fashion and all that, and are able to get back in the building? Or maybe they called and said, hey, I'm locked out, can you come let me in the building? And maybe a building manager.
Pretty frequently. Not robberies. Now, robbery is when you use some type of force or threat. But we had a lady over at Burger King. She had just got fired. She was a manager. They didn't change the code when she left. She came in, I swear, y'all, dressed like a ninja. Used her code, and you can see on the camera, sneaking. She had her face wrapped up, all black. She ducked down and crawled, got up, put in the code, got the money, and was gone. But, you know, she didn't move. They went right to the motel, got the money. She was sitting right there with the money. But it happens. It happens, especially when you got somebody who hasn't been there for that long and doesn't really have an established relationship. And I know companies have temps, so people who don't really have a stake in the company and don't really know a lot of folks. So they won't be embarrassed. They just need the money. Bless you. They need the money, so they know where the money is. They've got a code, easy access, in and out. So it does happen pretty frequently.
So just as a reminder, if we get a call in the evening saying, hey, I've left my purse in the building, I'm locked out, you have to get verification from your property manager or their manager saying it is okay to let them in the building. They could have been fired that day. We did not know it. You're just going to let them in the building, and they could be ransacking the office.
Protocol 4 would just check the license plate.
No, you have to, our protocol has always been you have to either confirm with your property manager or their manager, but always make the manager involved. Do not just give them access.
But on top of calling the manager, I still will get a copy of their license because we had this happen when I could not get in touch with the tenant who was in the building. So the manager's making the same decision that we would make, which is to let them in the space. So we get either a copy of their license or jot the information down where they are.
Also, too, I don't know how you guys get in if you have just the swipe passes and IDs. piggybacking.
Yeah.
It's a problem everywhere I
It
go.
really is.
But I'll tell you a quick story. Again, this was a church running a daycare, and people are dropping the kids off. Now listen, you can't make this stuff up. Homeless guy with a kid, not his kid. He piggybacks and goes and sits in one of the classrooms. And they're thinking, all right, this must just be a parent who just wants to look in. And when they finally go to identify the guy, he has nothing to do with the establishment. This is not his kid. He just, for whatever reason, that day had an inclination, I'm just going to go in here and see what's going on, and I'm going to take this random kid with me. And he was in there for hours.
The air conditioning.
In the air conditioner, okay. What I don't understand is the kid wasn't related to him. We ended up getting him, but the fact of the matter is he piggybacked off somebody thinking, oh, this is one of the parents. Or like you guys do, as one of the employees, you come on in, oh, I left my badge in my truck, I left my badge at home, so forth and so on. I know when I was at Verizon, we had to stop with security, get the temporary sticker and all this stuff. So it was real a nuisance. We couldn't get upstairs unless they knew, all right, you left your badge, here's your temporary one, and they're logging it. So just make sure you're doing that. I mean, I know you guys know each other, the ones that know each other, but it's just something to keep in mind. You can't hold the door for everybody, and if you're holding the door for everybody, it's not really encouraging people to keep up with their badge or their keys and things like that. So just something that you guys want to know. What other questions do you have? Yes, sir.
I mean, the one thing that I've learned from doing the buildings that I've had over the years is it's always going on and around you, but you know, you don't know exactly when. But like the times that I've had it happen in my building, the people would be dressed, you know, as nice as Todd is, and they end up, you know, that person ends up stealing somebody's pocketbook out of the building.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I think it really is that walk that you're talking about. You know, I've seen people like that in my buildings before,
Right.
and most of the time they, you know, they're smart, and you know, hey, what are you doing in the building? And they'll say, oh, well, you know, they've already checked everything out, and they'll go, oh, I'm here to see so and so.
Right.
And I've actually went before, and you know, they're not seeing so and so.
Right.
So, I mean, you know,
No,
it's
yeah.
really happening all the time.
No,
but
it's an
you don't
excellent
know when
point.
it's.
That's
when
an
it'll
excellent
happen.
point. It happens because, again, most of the crimes are crimes of opportunity. It's really not something that was plotted and things like that. I'm not talking about active shooting now, but just when we're talking about larceny and theft and things like that. And again, your approach, you don't have to be nasty. Just like in department stores now, they coach their representatives to be extra nice. It's like killing everybody with kindness, but it makes people more comfortable if they're there to shoplift.
Loss prevention?
Yeah, loss prevention, yeah.
Yeah.
Say, hey, how's it going? You doing all right? You sure you're okay? You're paying attention to them. They don't know that you really think that they might try to steal something, but you're on top of your game and you're being nice at the same time, but you're taking care of the company too. Yes, sir.
I've got a few buildings where it's never the same people, it's training centers,
Oh, wow.
placement. So I try and say, can I help you? Do you know where
Yeah.
you're going? Because some people come in and look at the marquee and then it's like you offend them if you ask them.
No, you're right.
Help.
You're right.
But at least you get a face contact, that guy saw me, even if you might remember me.
No, but
So I
that's-
try to make a face contact with them.
Absolutely, that's their approach.
I had an approach day before yesterday, a guy put a bicycle with one of my breakers. So I went and trained him, I said, who owns this bike? He was as mean as he could be about having to move it on our class. He said, we can't have this, it almost got this wrong, so I thought, backed up over a bicycle. It's kind of strange, when you got all these different people coming and going.
No, you're right, and then the thing is, we're all human beings, but approaching somebody, it can be an art. And the more practice you have at it, the better, but again, you got stuff that you can't anticipate. How can you know that somebody's going to put a bicycle and just stick it somewhere? You know, because again, but it's a problem where it can be stolen, you know?
Well,
Yeah,
right, I felt bad because I was making him put it outside.
Right. But that's the policy, so.
Or a U-Haul truck on property that's full of stolen appliances. That's what we did.
Yes, ma'am.
So we do take care of properties, obviously, and part of their job is to police the grounds, make sure everything looks nice. So can you talk through if they run across a box on the ground or a book bag or something like that? Should we, do we always need to be overly cautious that there's something wrong, or is it okay for us to,
Here's the thing, again, I'm going right back to the gut feel. If it looks suspicious, it probably is, there's a chance it won't be, it could be nothing. But the thing is, you got the cops, you don't have to go straight to the cops, but if you have security on site, have them check it out. But just take in the totality of the circumstances. Where is it? Is it possible, is it an area where everybody leaves their stuff all the time? Okay, but now this is somewhere kind of off the beaten path and it's a box. Why would this be here? Okay? You say that to yourself, you go let security know if you have security, but then again, call the police. Because we're gonna come check it out. We've got, not to say we wanna bring out a bomb dog every time, we wanna gather information to say, hey, what's going on? Okay? But that's a good question. What other questions, sir?
A lot of our guys have to come out late hours at night, and we have a building on Broad Street, or this section of Broad Street. And they're going down there for a false alarm or a fire truck alarm, something like that. Can they call your office or call the non-emergency number and ask for somebody to come?
Yep, you can have a police escort. I tell people, I've been training with people who go out to people's homes, like nurses that go out, get home, care for their patients, and they go out all times and in some bad areas of the city. We'll go out there and stand watch, escort, so to speak. So if you got that, again, we're on patrol 24/7. Once we get a unit available, we'll send them that way, or we'll just stand by. And we'll even go in if you want. Yes, sir.
What if they deal drugs? I mean, I'm not a police officer, but I know, I can see them dealing drugs every day at this spot.
Call us.
What if y'all don't do anything? I mean,
Here's the
it's been
thing.
5 years we've been watching them deal drugs.
Well, here's the thing. We can't just go off there dealing drugs. Hey, there's somebody dealing drugs.
Yeah.
The more specific you are, the better it's going to be. Listen, there is a black male about 30 years old who's dealing drugs to this homeless guy, and it happens every Friday. And we don't want him on the property. So now, you can have somebody like myself come out to the property and do a security survey, which I can do for all of you, and that's free of charge. I can look at each of your buildings, I'm gonna leave my card, and I can come up with a security plan for you specifically tailored to your building. But I can come out and basically, once we get these details, and we're going to look at, well, why are they coming here? Why is it good for them here? Now, the number one reason is nobody's messing with them, and it's easy for them, so nobody's approaching them. But if they're doing it over and over again, what I'm going to suggest, number one, is, all right, where are they doing? Are there any no trespassing signs? To get back to that.
Where's the bus stop right on Broad Street?
Well, the bus stop's tricky. Bus stop's tricky, but the smarter ones do the bus stop. But what we end up doing is a low-budget surveillance. If I get that call and that's my sector, all right, I'm looking at that bus stop. I know if that's my sector, who gets on the bus and who doesn't. And if buses keep coming and they don't get on the bus ever, then this may take a couple of days, but at the end of the day, I've got that documentation, and I'm taking notes to build my case so that I can approach them. I don't want to approach them right away because I can blow my whole case. But if I've got a tip, I can't just go off if we got a call saying you're dealing drugs. I can't use that. That's not going to get me an arrest. But if you say, listen, it's at the bus stop, I'm not getting on the bus, they usually deal to the guy who hangs out at Sitco, just more details, okay? And the thing is, you can also ask for more patrol in the area, in a specific area. You can say, hey, on Grace and the 200 block of Grace Street, there's a guy who always deals drugs on this corner right here, blah, blah, blah. Can we have more patrol between 2 and 5, between 9 and 11, whenever it is, and we'll have more patrol officers. Or you can even ask, with drugs, we have guys who walk with me too, and those guys see everything. In the cars, it's not that easy because you're doing at least 15 miles an hour, and you're looking at everything. But walking the beat, we're stopping, talking to people, and that kind of throws these drug dealers off. But the more specific you can be, the better it is for us. Because at the end of the day, when I engage that guy, he's already been approached by cops, and he's got his talk off to get me out of his face. All right, but if I've got some good stuff like, nope, actually you're not free to leave, because this, and this. Now they really have to have a real conversation with you. Now, a couple things that's going to do, that's going to get him to leave, or he's going to become confrontational, and I'm probably going to detain him. Hopefully I'll be able to get a consensual search, but if I've been doing my job, I know where the drugs are. Because a lot of times nowadays, they don't keep the drugs on them. They keep it in like in a wheel well, on a car, they keep it in the bushes, somewhere that they can just say, they can just walk off. But if I've got them on no trespassing, if I got them on you're not riding the bus, you're trespassing on city property, because it's a bus stop, and if you don't have a bus pass and you haven't been getting on the bus, you're doing something. Okay, and I've watched you do hand-to-hand exchanges, and I may have a confidential informant who's given me some information, but we've got to start the conversation with more than, hey, there's a guy dealing drugs on in front of my building.
What if you don't know that they're dealing, but you know that they're in the presence of drugs?
Suspicious activity. All you gotta do is, hey, I don't know if it's anything, it may be nothing. It may be selling Girl Scout cookies, I don't know. Could you come check this guy out and give us a description of that guy? A lot of times, the beat cops, we know who the guy is. I had a guy, oh my goodness, this dude, 17, first guy I chased. I've never seen him get arrested for drugs. He's the smartest dude ever. And I've had heart-to-hearts with him to say, dude, I know what you're doing. I haven't caught you because you're like the smartest dude. And the only time I kind of got him to admit it, he was high that day, and he was feeling himself. He was kind of, his ego. He was like, yeah, well, you know, I'm smarter than y'all and all this stuff. But I still haven't figured out how he's doing. But everybody knows he's doing. He never has the drugs on him. He's around the drug spots. And I swear one day I saw him talking to some kids who were his recruits. I'm like, my goodness, it's amazing. But the whole point is getting us to come out there. Because ordinarily, if you got a good cop working the beat, he knows or she knows who that guy is. We know who the CD man is, we know who the drug dealers are, we know who the heroin addicts are. Because our areas are really not that well, Southside, they weren't that big. And after a year or so, you're going to pretty much know everybody and know the cars. And when somebody new comes in, we notice it. And we have to have, at the end of the day, a savvy approach. Because dealing drugs is their job. Y'all remember Wile E. Coyote and the Road Runner? Yep. All right, there was a sheepdog, Sam. And remember Wile E. Coyote used to go get the sheep, and they punch in. Look, I'm going to go steal a sheep. It's your job to stop it. That's who I am. Right? It's my job to stop, so I don't take it personally. I used to take it personally, but then I lose sleep and get upset. Now I'm like, okay, that's just what they do. Because I'm going to catch them before too long. They have to be lucky every single time. I got to be lucky once. So when I get a good tip, all of my good arrests have come from a tip. Somebody just saying, hey, this looks funny. Now, sometimes people have gotten away. Almost, listen to this one. So, there was a guy, accident, guy runs into a pole, and smashed, this is at Midlothian and 30th. And I get there, I'm wet behind the ears, a year in, right? And I go, get there, drop the seat, nobody's in it. There's a guy asleep in the passenger seat. There's some people sitting up on the porch watching the whole thing, 2 o'clock in the morning. Everything happens at 2 o'clock in the morning. I shake him, I say, dude, what's going on? Are you okay? We need an ambulance. Who was driving the car? He was like, I don't know, man. And I'm just tending to him because he's shaking up. And I just want to make sure he's not hurt, you know, because it was a bad accident. The car was wrecked, holes knocked over, all this stuff. And he says it's fine. He gets himself together. I get his information. He says, can I leave over here? See you later. So I go and call the tow truck, and I'm doing my work. People sitting on the porch call over him and say, officer, you know he was driving the car. What it is, when he crashed, he got out of the driver's seat. He got into the passenger seat.
Went to sleep.
And went to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this guy's hurt, oh my goodness, I got to take care of him. But they're sitting there the whole time while I'm talking to him. didn't say a word, and when they tell me, I'm like, what? But now I'm sitting with guys, I get in my car and I fly down the little thing trying to find this guy never saw me. But the whole point is that tip is nice. You know, we don't know everything. And I could have pressed him, but my mind was on his safety and was this guy hurt? Because people, you know, can obviously die from car accidents and internal injuries that I can't see. And I thought he might have been knocked out from hitting the windshield because the car was so messed up. And I'm just happy this guy's okay. And I don't have to go down to the hospital and wait with this guy so forth and so on. But the point is, the tip really would have helped. So, you think we know everything, but we don't. We're just regular people who put on new clothes. That's
But you in that situation are like us in their situations. You wanted to help somebody.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what we do. You were talking about the building engineer who wants to help the person get
Right.
their keys back. Because that's what we do.
Yep.
We want to help resolve the situation,
Yep.
make people happy. Sometimes you got to step back and think about what you're doing.
Yeah, you got to step back and take a look at the totality of the circumstances. That's what cops say all the time. And make sure you're paying attention to that feeling. If something's not right, if they're saying odd stuff, I tell people all the time, criminals, the ones that go with me to lock up the fastest are the ones that can't stop talking. I had one guy, here I'm telling another story. I told him the secret. I said, dude, I said, you're talking my head off. I'm trying to get out of here. I'm gonna let you go in just a second. Just leave me alone while I run your tags. He said, well, officer, I just want to know, I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm not a bad guy, and I don't sell drugs, this, that, and I'm like, all right, I hear you. I don't know why you're talking about that. And I tell him jokingly, because right now we're friends. I'm like, but if you keep talking, I said, that tends to make me suspicious. It's like you're doing something. He's like, no, not me. I said, all right, let's play a game. You just stop talking. I gotta take care of this, buddy, and I want you to just go back to your car, all right? He says, all right, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I tell you what, one time, this guy, and he goes into a store. So I stop what I'm doing. I get out of my car. I'm like, I said, dude, listen, I want to believe you, and I think you're a nice guy. Turn around. And I put him in cuffs. He had a pistol in his car. And he doesn't rob people. What was his thing? He sold guns. And we had actually been looking for him, but the thing is, I wasn't thinking about that at all. But anyway, the whole point was, my gut was saying he's talking, and from my experience, if he keeps talking, he's done something wrong. And he went with me, and I got it off of the field. But the thing is, you're right. We want to help. We want to help, and that's fine. But just take a second, take a look at the whole picture. What do I have here? Is it harmless? Why is this person here? Can this happen again? Is this an issue that we may have to bring our community together and talk to management about? Okay. All right, I know I've been talking your heads off. Any more questions? I'm definitely leaving my card, so if you have any questions, again, I do a security survey. So basically, it takes about 20 minutes. I come to your site, and I just look at your building. You take me on a tour. I say, you're doing this right, you're doing this wrong. And then I write it up, and I email it to you. It's nice to have. And I would even say, if you show it to your insurance company, I can't vouch for this, but I would think if you have something like that on file, it might help you with your insurance company. Just say, hey, we did this, and the officer from Richmond Police said, these are some of the things we can do, and we've done it. Can I get somebody out of my insurance? Any more comments, questions? Well, I appreciate your time. If you guys want me to come back and do any other type of training as far as safety is concerned, I'd be happy to do it.
Thank you, sir. Just very, very quickly, it is almost the fall, so shirt orders will be going out soon. It is almost the fall, and after the fall comes winter. So start looking at ice melt and red signs and start thinking, I know. It's Christmas, right? We don't have to think about the S word, but we think about the fun things. So start looking at ice melt, red signs, and just trying to get an idea of how comfortable you are with what you have in stock, because we'll be talking about that soon and getting those numbers together. Also, next month, our training, I'm going to talk to Eric about this, but our training will be a little different. We're gonna have some hands-on stuff and talk through some stuff, so please make sure you are definitely here for October's training.
And you will get an assignment before that training.
Yes,
So
you
be
will.
prepared.
Homework?
Yes.
Homework before the training.
Employee survey, did you turn it on? Okay, employee survey, if you have not done this yet, please make sure you do it. There was an email from Marisa this morning reminding people with a link. I think, what did you say? We have 27 technicians out of the entire company that have done the employee survey. So that's when we have 85 techs. So